Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Mario here, and I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here. We're back for the Maxi Toys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games for the Nintendo Wii U. So last time we actually, or yesterday rather, that we actually did showcase off these last three main events in the single match mode in even Ender, that despite the table tennis might actually be definitely probably is my least favorite event of the entire game. It's mostly due to the timing skills and what have you, but anyway. So, apart from those sides of things, that we actually claimed first place on that regard. And also that Peach did accidentally kick the wrong side of the goal, which temporarily kicked it from the back, which that might be really hilarious. So anyway, enough about the little discussion. So anyways, today for this video is that we're about to be tackling through a different mode, which you can only unlock from the beginning, which you can do either two different methods, like you can become first place in all of those events in single match mode, or there's another method that you can do due to the tournament gate. But I haven't exactly explained what the method you can do there. But either way though, so here we go at the Hero Showdown, which basically, I think this is more likely any people seem to think this is probably definitely is the highlight of the game. I think it's mostly because it feels kind of similar to the Legend Showdown from the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games. But either way, there was some bunch of NPC characters like Charmy B and Bodo, and one thing I haven't mentioned is that if you talk to Qbot, it'll actually take you to multiplayer and single match mode. But if you talk to Charmy B, that allows you to actually transport you to a single player mode. But if you talk to Bodo, that it transports you to the multiplayer mode. So yeah, this is how this mode works. You're basically gonna have to choose either Team Mario or Team Sonic, what round you're gonna be doing at, or the match I should say. But basically, every time when you're trying to pick one of either those two teams, you always have to be forced to play as either these two teams' characters. Like, for instance, if you play as Team Mario, you always have to play as all of the Team Mario characters. But if you play as Sonic, you're actually going to be forced to use Sonic characters instead of Mario and Sonic combined together. So, yeah, for this first Hero Showdown section, we're going to be using Team Mario for this video session. So, every time when you start this mode up, that you actually get yourselves a shuffle between those little players' cards, or in this case, a board scorecard. And basically, every time when you're trying to begin pressing the A button, or assuming if you actually start the thing up, that one of 10 playable characters actually depends on what teams you'll be using, and depends on what events they'll be anticipated for, that they are in the different colored panels. Like for instance, Wario, Luigi, and Daisy are in the red selection, or the red symbol, and the guest character, Peach, Bowser Jr., and Donkey Kong are in blue, and then green, which was Yoshi, Bowser, and Waluigi. Because the main gimmick of this mode is the bonus cards. Every time when you're trying to use, depends on what characters you'll be using, because it's all about strategy going on, and some huge emphasis on skill, that it's not luck based or anything, no, it's basically just a skillful strategy feels based to it, because every time when you're trying to see what the description actually, when these bonus cards have been shown as information, that what the bonus cards can actually do, and if you're actually trying to select the specific characters you will be using, like say for instance we're using Waluigi in 100 meter freestyle swimming, then when it's actually green colored, that way it allows you to actually just anticipate the event, and also if you manage to win the event, that will actually affect on some different teammate. So, or in this case the entire captain's team, mainly Team Sonic, we're going to be demonstrating once we win this race. Oh, what? We actually did failed on that turn. Probably because we did this too late. So anyway, so 100 meter freestyle swimming, you guys should know about this event since we already played this before. Sometimes there's going to be a lot of emphasis on replaying those events again, particularly the 3 events or 3 modes in this particular situation, so I thought it's worth mentioning that out, so you know. So once you win depends on what events you're winning, that it will actually allows you to use the bonus cards, and that will actually affect it on the other team's efforts. And then basically every time when you win the event, and then that will actually allows one of those players from the other team actually becomes out of the game. And then every time when that happens all the time, then yeah, that's all I can say about it. And then the list goes on that if you actually go into another rounds, the event selection can get shuffled or randomized at points once you actually revisit to any sort of like replays in well, Hero Showdown basically. And basically that you know, that's as far as how this mode actually works out. Of course, you can turn on the guest characters on, which I highly recommend you do, because it'll just makes it this mode to be most definitely the most highlight in this game. So, alright, so now we have BMX takes place in the Olympic BMX Center, which I think we haven't sort of mentioned that in the first ever part of this playthrough, and we're about to be playing as Donkey Kong against Knuckles, which, sure, that might be really crazy, right? And since then, since Mario Kart Wii did actually let Donkey Kong actually use his motorbikes, but even then he's more capable of riding his bike, which that does makes perfect sense, because back in Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8, that those two Mario Kart games actually has bikes gimmick, as well as the 12 precision system, and yeah. But even then, though, that I think that's how, unfortunately, that's all I can say about the Hero Showdown in general. It's probably the most more faithful mode in the game, or in this case, definitely the most highlight mode in the game, just because you can either choose either Team Mario or Team Sonic, depends on, again, whatever you're trying to actually revisit to this mode, if you feel like just having fun with it. Actually, I found myself just actually playing this game in our own time, just to actually just get these Rio tournament gate done and over with, and then after we're done with these types of dealings, we can actually go ahead and just play a bit of you know, Hero Showdown. Or in this case, yeah, Hero Showdown, yeah. I always keep on thinking it's actually 2014 for some reason. Every once in a while, you're actually gonna be just using one of those chance cards. It depends on what team they actually start to lose for a little bit. And then every time when this happens, that it'll cause one of these cards to affect. Like for instance, as you can tell, that Sonic the LT Captain Sonic just used, he actually chose one of the cards that I was actually forced, or in this case, we were forced to play as Mario or the entire Captain. But even then, though, if you actually let the Captain out, there's one thing you probably notice at this point, is that if you actually let one of your captains lose the entire event, or even if you actually against with the captain, mainly Captain Sonic, and if you actually beat against him, that way that'll actually gives you an instant win of the Hero Showdown. So just keep that in mind. But if we did actually lose on that event, we'd probably let Team Sonic actually get an instant win. So just to give you guys a quick note. Okay, so also nothing worth knowing for is that if you let the captain win, you can choose either one of those bonus cards you can use, whatever you wanted to produce to. Okay, somehow we ended up in the somewhat of a little competition between the Mario vs Sonic Showdown. And yeah, every time when you use specific character as well as the other team's specific character, they might ended up in a very, 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 very special match, like we're actually going to be doing Mario vs Sonic situation. So whoever gets like if you let Team Mario wins, they'll just make Sonic actually becomes an instant lose. But even then, though, that we're actually going to be competing in triple jump. So even then, though, they actually did that pretty perfect timing, as you can tell. But you guys should know about the triple jump works in this game, so you know. I guess one more thing we need to mention before we actually end things off here, well, we're going to talk about more briefly on the Rio 2016 news. Well, for instance, that there's one thing we haven't sort of mentioned in the beginning of this playthrough, that during the Vaults Gymnastics event, basically what this bad things can happen does is that one of the members of France who is competing for Vault and what have you, shoot, counter a Val. Actually, we'll talk more onto these types of related news until we get to Team Sonic's version. So, unfortunately, guys, there's nothing we can actually just talk about some certain things during Rio 2016 at the moment. But we will talk more onto that and during the next video. But honestly, there's not much else we can talk about besides Hero Showdown shenanigans. But yeah, if you let Sonic's out, then you'll instantly get a win. But you don't get ability to actually use Amy or Shadow for this most part, because even then that's the part of rules. So either way. So once you actually win the Hero Showdown, this will actually lead you to this award ceremony, which, well, actually shows you the whole host of the Mario characters, mainly the playable characters, for instance, in this installment. So here you have the main 10 usual gang, as well as the 7 guests from made his first appearance in the Mario and Sonic franchise in this game. So here we have the usual, yeah. Conveniently enough though, the main 10 are actually in front, but then the other 7 guests are in the back, meaning that they're only one event playable from that part, and yeah. And every time when you actually win the Hero Showdown, you can actually get yourselves 2 different rewards. Like for instance, since we're actually using Team Mario for this mode, you actually get yourself some coins, and if you're Team Sonic, you get some rings. But the biggest bonus you can get is the music you can actually unlock. So yeah, not to mention if you actually try to either do 2 different methods on unlocking some music, you can either just do it on the item stand, or you can do it as a recommendation, what I highly recommend it to you, is to actually instantly go back to Hero Showdown, and that's all you're literally trying to do. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, we're gonna have to end things off here. So tomorrow, of Let's Play Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. This time, however, we're gonna be using Team Sonic on this, the exact same mode. So yeah, that'll be pretty exciting. So see you guys then. Later, fellas.